currently have the hotel room to myself. I will update from today. This is the first day at the Artemotion Adult Ballet Summer Intensive. So we started out with a little tiny orientation this morning and did our group photo. And then we split up into our different levels, and then intermediate is large, so we were split up into 2 intermediate groups. So my group went to the Capitol Theater studio, which is really pretty, and I had seen it on Breaking Point, which is really cool. And Jenna taught our class, and she's awesome. I loved her. She has so much energy and just like such a kind spirit. And obviously I've had adult ballet classes that I have loved and enjoyed, but like the way she taught it and just how she encouraged but also like corrected people is just what I wish everybody could get out of like an adult ballet class, because I've had plenty where I did not get that and it made me want to quit ballet. And this just made me go, oh yeah, this is why I like it. And then we had point variations, which was taught by Claire, who's I think a company member, and she taught us Nikia's death from La Air, which was really cool. Hard for me because of my knee problems, and I couldn't really go on my knees, so I even put my knee brace on to just give me more padding. So that was hard for me because like I'm so cautious on my knees anymore. But it was still really fun. My toes were absolutely feeling like they were gonna fall off after that because I haven't done point in so long. I was originally thinking like, oh, maybe like tomorrow I'll take the beginner variation point class just because I don't love contemporary and modern. I don't remember which one's on mine tomorrow because there's also jazz and I do like jazz. But then I was also like, we probably should not kill our toes every day. So then we had a little break for lunch, and when I'm dancing that much, I can't eat a lot during the day. So I just had like a Cliff Bar, and I did bring a banana and other snacks with me, but I just didn't eat them. I did come back to the hotel here. I'm staying at the Holiday Inn Express, which is like literally across the street from the theater. So I did that on purpose because I knew I did not want to be spending money on like Ubers and stuff, and I wanted to be feeling comfortable just walking to the studio every day. And it was rainy and cold this morning. It was like 45 and rainy, so I was glad that my walk was not longer than that. The other thing that Jenna mentioned to us in class that we had to keep in mind is the altitude. If you come from a place that is not this high, you are going to struggle a little because you're not used to the altitude. And I was like, that makes so much more sense why I'm struggling today. So that was an interesting thing that I hadn't thought about. You know, in Ohio, we don't really have that issue. So, but yeah, I had lunch. I got to talk to a few people in the class here, and like in my intermediate class, and then we had a choreography session afterwards. With my class was with Kramer, and so they did a group pas de trois part in the beginning with some lifts, which was really pretty to watch. And I will try and insert some of this stuff in here as I'm talking about it if I remember, because I'm really bad at figuring out how to do that in videos. If not, I did take a lot to share like on Instagram and things too, so they'll be there. And I'm gonna try and make a tab thing on Instagram, a highlight thing, so that you can go back and look through them, because by the time I finally edit this I will be long gone from here because I didn't bring my laptop. I was going to, and that would have made me able to actually have something to do in the evenings, but then I didn't want to take it because my bags were so heavy and everything. I was going to take dancewear to give to people too that I didn't use anymore, and then my bag was like 5 pounds overweight. And thankfully Brad came into the airport with me because I had to sit there and be that awkward person to pull things out of my bag, and it ended up just having to be like all of the stuff that I was bringing to give people, because I was like, well, that's the stuff I know I don't need. So but yeah, I didn't bring my laptop, which like part of me is like, I kind of wish I did, because like that's the only thing is like I don't know what to do in the evenings with myself. I'm not here with like someone I know. I'm rooming with a complete stranger, which is fine, but like I just like I do sometimes kind of wish I had done a room by myself, only because like I'm a little more of a control freak person, and I would like control over things like the thermostat or like just random little things, and like it'd be easy to just come back and relax by myself in the evenings, like all evening by myself, and just know I have my own little like cave space like to be. So like that, I needed to be splitting it with someone because of the money, but like at the same time, like for my mental health this week, because I'm really homesick, and I know it's only day 1. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've never been this homesick before. Like, well, I have been this homesick before, but not in a very long time. I usually get excited about vacations. That has been the hardest part of this, and it's not anything to do with this trip. It's more the fact that traveling in general alone anymore makes me more nervous, because I seem to get all the flights that get delayed and canceled and everything, which thankfully mine yesterday did not, which is why I chose a non-stop Delta flight. But like I just get very nervous and very anxious, and like I couldn't eat all day yesterday. And then like my fiance, like I know that sounds silly, but like I miss him more than anything right now, and like I don't like being away from him, which I know sounds silly, but like I really don't like it. And I know I can call him, and I do, but then again, like, not being in a room by myself normally, I don't feel like I have the space and everything to be like, let me just sit here and talk to you for an hour on the phone. So I had to like go stand in the hallway, or maybe I will go down to the lobby tonight because I just like, I want privacy talking to him. And I do wish I had my own room for that, for a lot of reasons with like what I'm dealing with just mentally this week. I wish that I had done my own room. Also found out that here stuff like on Sundays and holidays is like not open. So I don't know where I'm gonna go for dinner because like nothing is open. I do have a lot of snacks, so it may just be a snack dinner. But my friend Courtney, who used to be one of my ballet teachers at Cincinnati Ballet and is now at Ballet West, was telling me, she's like, yeah, on Sundays and holidays here a lot is closed, so it is harder to find things that are open. So that's just a little tip that I learned. But yeah, so we had our choreography thing. We filmed it and then passed the videos on to people afterwards. And then I stayed back and talked to Alyssa, who I know from Instagram, for a while before she went to her photo shoot. And we also got to meet Catherine Morgan because she was coming through the building, so that was cool. But yeah, it's been a really cool experience so far. I am already really sore and tired, and just, I think my brain is just not, I'm not trying to make this a negative video because it's like, this has been a really, really cool trip so far, and I'm really excited just for all the dancing, and I'm thankful that I am doing all that dancing because it kind of does take my mind off the fact that I'm homesick and things. But yeah, so it has been really good so far. This has just been day one. And so we'll see. I purposely picked a hotel that has a hot tub and a pool, and I brought swimsuits, so I will probably be using that for my sore muscles. Maybe that'll be something that I entertain myself with in the evenings. So we'll see. But that's all for day one. Okay, so I forgot to really record myself much at all after this. So this was day 2. We had class with Joe Lynch, who was awesome. I only made it through bar because I actually ended up getting altitude sickness and I had to just sit out the rest of that class. And then we had jazz with Jordan DeBona. So here's just some of the exercises. Again, I was still kind of sitting out a little, giving myself a break because I was really struggling. And this is the combo we learned in that class. And I'd already done it a few times, so I was again sitting out because I was just having so much shortness of breath and like nauseous and lightheaded. And so I was like, I need a break. I need to drink a lot of water and sit down. So that's what I did. But it was still really fun, super energetic. And then we had lunch, and then this was from our choreography session in the afternoon. I think this day we actually ended up learning the rest of our dance. Like originally I think we were going to learn a lot more, and he ended up cutting it short. And I honestly like how we did it because it was so much to remember as it was. But I loved our dance. And then I got to hang out with Courtney, and she took me backstage because they were doing the Ukraine benefit that night. So this was really cool because like I got to go on stage at Ballet West at the Capitol Theater. So this was just a really cool, unique opportunity. And then I just spent the evening hanging out with her, and we went to a park and walked around and then hung out at her apartment, and it was just so nice to have someone from home there. Okay, so day 4 we had class with Vinny. He is hilarious and I loved him. And class was really good. It was so full because all these students came because I think they love his class too. So it was a very busy class that morning. And then we had our point variation class again with Claire again. And it was really good. We do point for the first half of class and then we do the variation. So she has to do like beret exercises, which that killed my toes. But it was really good. And then she's just so good at teaching like the emotion and like the like thought process behind the acting of the variation, because Nikia's death is a lot of acting, which is actually why I really preferred it, because it's a lot more of an adagio kind of one, and I'm an adagio person. So this is kind of us running through it after we had learned it the second day. And then I have another clip from the final day that I'll put in, and all of it's on Instagram with the music and stuff too. This is just speeding it up so you don't have to watch all of it. But no, it was so good. I also just realized I do have a clip later where I literally have myself talking through each of the days because I wrote down in a notebook what we did each day so I didn't forget. So you will hear me going over it all again, and that'll probably be better too because right now this is like 3 weeks later and I'm trying to go, what did I do each day? I don't know. But yeah, so this is our variation and I loved it. And then we had choreography. So this is our choreographer. And then Stephanie was doing a solo, so he was teaching her a solo there. I wanted to add this in here because I just wish I had done more talking to the camera. Most nights I either left the camera up in the room and forgot about it until I was down in the lobby, and I can use the lobby time in the evening as my alone time.
So I didn't want to have to go back up to the room where my roommate and her mom were, just because I needed that alone time. Also, I wasn't going to record videos down in the lobby. So I didn't end up doing all those, which I wish I had, because I really liked how day one turned out. But so this evening, after everything, I ended up meeting up with Debbie, who I've met and known from Instagram for a long time, and her friend Kate, who are both in from Alaska. And we had the best night. Like, I needed it so much. I was getting the homesickness vibes again. Like, I was crying to Brad on the phone, and they took me out for a fun night. Like, we took an Uber up to the Capitol building and just like walked around up there. It was a gorgeous evening, like probably like 70, 75 degrees, breezy, great. And then we realized that all of the food was not near there. So then we walked all the way back down and ate at Brio at the City Creek Mall, I think is what it's called, which is a really gorgeous mall. And we had a great dinner there, lots of fun talks, and then we took an Uber back up to the Capitol because we were not walking all the way. That is a lot. That is a very steep walk up. So we did that. We took lots of ballet photos together, which you guys can see on my Instagram and stuff. And we just had a great evening. And then we went back, but it was so nice. It was just a gorgeous night and a great night out with friends that I really needed, and I just loved that I got to hang out with them. So that just like made my week. So this is day 4. So this would be, at this point, this is Thursday. So we had ballet class taught by Adrienne Fry in the morning, which I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed all of our teachers. There wasn't a single person I didn't like. Some of them just had different styles of teaching. Like, I remember Jenna's class, our first day was thankfully a very like lighter class, which we needed that day. And then Joe's the next day was really, really leg heavy and fast. So they're just all different, but not like in a bad way. And everybody's got great corrections, and they just like, they let you do your thing like an adult. And like, you know, it's a really positive environment. It's great. So we had that class, and then we had contemporary afterwards with Jessica, and I did have a clip of that, but it wasn't much, and I don't seem to have it on here. If I do, I'll put it in. But that was really interesting. I am not a modern contemporary person at all. I really tried my best. It's just not where I'm comfortable dancing, but it was still cool to try different things. And then after that, we had another choreography rehearsal evening. I don't think I took any clips because we were kind of doing kind of the same thing and just cleaning up. But then the best part was afterwards I had my photo shoot in the evening. So some of my friends from the intermediate class and I, because we were all in the same group, we took a lot of photos on our own. I have not obviously gotten back our photos from Artemotion yet. I am so excited for that whenever we do. But I took lots of clips of them getting photos of us and kind of what the experience is like. So I'm going to put that in here too, as well as some of the clips that my friends and I took, just because I want you guys to see them.
For this day. Okay, so the first is going to be Allie. You don't have to go slow into it, think you can bounce. Like, all you're gonna do is prepare. You're gonna go 1, 2, 3, and just, yeah. And he's amazing at what he does. So don't worry about bouncing. Like, oh, yeah, even more. There, that's the one. Body's more like pitched forward. Yeah. Okay. And think about this one still in front of you. Right. And then think your chest is moving back forward, and then motion out over your fingers. Over your fingers, yeah. That's it. Oh shoot, I gotta get out of here. Okay, that's a relaxed one. Oh yeah. Okay. So everyone, this also just goes for class in general. We try to like move our arms to make lines, and we don't move our spine. And so that's when we like rotate our cuffs, get all messed up. So think if you want to make a line that's twisted, you're actually going to twist your spine first and then put your arms out, as opposed to trying to stay square and throw your arms back, okay? So nice and relaxed, and then a little higher. So make, ooh! Ooh! Oh, sorry, I always, I'm always thinking that.
Okay, so coming up next is that clip I mentioned where I was finally talking to the camera again in the hotel room and kind of went through the whole week in more detail because I was still there and remembered it. So I'll let you guys watch that. The only thing I wanted to add from this particular day, from Thursday, is that then after my photo shoot, I went back and changed really fast, and then Alyssa and I we walked to the City Creek Mall, walked around, we did lots of shopping, we sat at Chick-fil-A and ate. It was so wonderful, and like we just had some great talks. We have so much in common even outside of ballet, and I just, again, just like meeting with Debbie and Kate, like these are the moments that really made the trip for me, is getting to hang out with these other adult ballet dancers who are just so similar to me in a lot of ways, and just who I can really talk to. And it was just so great. And I met a lot of great people in my classes too that I hadn't already known. But like, I think hanging out with Alyssa and Debbie and Kate was like my favorite thing of the whole week. And Courtney, obviously, since I haven't seen her in a while. But it just like building those friendships was so wonderful, and we just had such a great time. So I think I talk more about that in a minute, but I just wanted to throw that in here too because it meant so much to me.
I thought I was going to be able to update this every day, and just because of different circumstances, I have not been able to. So I did, though, every day write in my little journal that I brought with me, kind of how my day's been each day. And I think I mentioned this in my day one video. It is now Friday night. I have the hotel room to myself because my roommate ended up leaving. She and her mom ended up leaving a day early. So this is kind of nice to just have some space tonight to pack and to do things like this, because I wouldn't do this down in the lobby, which is where I was spending just a lot of time, just to have some alone time, because I really need that in the evenings. I need that time to just either watch a few episodes of a show, read a book, edit photos that I've taken, things like that. Just I need that like me time to decompress after being around people all week. So that's something to think about too. Like if you are going to do this, something that I have talked to a lot of other people about, and they recommend either, you know, it is more expensive, obviously, to get a room by yourself. There's some people who did like VRBOs, but also some people who did things like rented like a loft space. So like they shared a place with someone, but they had separate little bedroom areas. And so that way they kind of still had their own alone space. And I think that's really important because this intensive, like it's intense. But more that I mean, like you are with people all day. Even at lunch, you don't really have, like, you can kind of escape to little areas like I usually did each day and kind of called Brad at lunch and then before bed. But like you're really just around people all the time. And if you're a little more introverted like me, you might need that alone space that I'm just used to having and I haven't really had this week. Which is why I found the lobby to be a good place to just go sit in a little nook over there and just kind of do my thing in the evenings. Grab a Coke, read a book, watch some Big Bang Theory, whatever I need to do. I kind of told you guys about day one. I know, I think with like my homesickness, which has been off and on all week, not something I expected to have an issue with, but that's just me personally. And I do think sharing a room with other people didn't help that because I didn't have that me recharge time in the evenings. And I think I realized I really needed that. Didn't know that. So I'm going to look at my notes now. Let's see. So I basically every morning I was still in Cincinnati time for a while, and I still just got up really early and went to the studios just early because they open the doors at 8, and I pretty much ate breakfast in the lobby like around like 7:30, 7:40, and then just walked over to the studios. And then I would just sit there, roll out, warm up, maybe read my book a little, have a little alone time. Tried to get some like videos and photos. I was so bad about that this week because I felt like I didn't have a lot of time to do it because, like, you get out of class sometimes a little late and then you're running to the next class and then you have to eat lunch really quick, and sometimes I would run back here and change because I was really sweaty or I forgot something, and then you have rehearsal and then you're out and I'm like, what did I get today? Like, I tried to remember to get photos and videos every day and it just did not always happen the way I meant it to. Or, you try to set up for getting videos and you get videos of just someone's feet standing in the way the whole time or something. So it didn't always work out. But day 2, we had ballet class. In the morning, I was always in the Capitol Theater for my morning class, which has been really nice. And then we had Joe Lynch on Tuesday as our teacher, which I really liked. I don't remember much about his class because that was the day that the altitude issues kicked in for me. I think day 1 was kind of lighter because Jenna gave us a lighter ballet class, and so I didn't feel it as much. The puffier the class got, which we had with Joe, it was very leg heavy but very fast. I could not catch my breath. I started getting really lightheaded and dizzy, and I thought I was going to get sick. So I barely made it through bar, like feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And like, I don't normally feel like I have to quit. I very gracefully kind of just picked up my stuff and walked out the back door so no one really noticed, because I was like, I have to go sit down, and just like, oh man, it was rough. I also had a really big breakfast that morning too, so I don't know if that played into it too, but it was definitely I could not catch my breath. I probably had like 4 bottles of water in that bar period class time before class and that time because I think I'm just still so dehydrated. I'm still dehydrated and it's Friday. I should have brought liquid IV with me and I didn't think of that. But so I did that. I went out in the lobby and just kind of sat, let myself like kind of just relax. I called Brad, and like 10 minutes later after talking to him, he's like, "You are still out of breath and you've been sitting talking to me this whole time." And I was like, "Yes, I cannot catch my breath." And so it was a little more of a real issue for me. So the rest of the day I kind of took it a little easier. We had jazz that afternoon. Which was good. It was different from jazz classes I've taken in the past, but it was still good. But again, I tried to kind of take it a little easier on myself and had to sit down a couple times during things just because I was like, I can't do full out right now. My body just can't do it. And you have to know when your body can and can't do things. As adults, we know that. And it's not that I didn't want to push myself. It's just like I physically couldn't do it. So turn off my other camera here. So I did jazz then. Oh, I had lunch with Mary and Alyssa, who I met. Alyssa and I have known each other on Instagram for a while, and she is just like the nicest person. Like her and Debbie, I've known for a long time from Instagram, and it was so nice to finally meet them and to hang out with them on this trip. Like they made this trip for me because I was so homesick, and the times I was with them, I just forgot about that and just really enjoyed their company and getting to know them better. So I ate lunch with them. Then and Mary, who was another one from my class, she's really sweet. And then I went to rehearsal. Let's see, I also talked to Tammy a lot, who is staying in my hotel and is in my class, and she is just the nicest woman ever, and she is hilarious, and she knew that I was having trouble with homesickness that day especially, so she would just randomly come up to me and start like making faces or doing things across the room just to get me laughing, and I just really appreciated that because I needed that. And then so that night, I actually got to hang out with Courtney, who was my old teacher from Cincinnati Ballet, and she now is like a rehearsal director at Ballet West. So she kind of showed me around the studios and everything, showed me her Nutcracker Bible, and then took me backstage because they were in the Capitol Theater that night for the Ukraine benefit. So that was really cool to see. And then she and I went to Liberty Park and walked around, took some photos of the mountains in the background. I was tired, but I've learned this week that I had to get out and do things instead of just laying around because I just couldn't do that. So we did that. Went back to her apartment, talked a lot. I met her boyfriend and her cats. And then she took me to one of the grocery stores, which is funny because it was a Smith's, and I work for Kroger, who does Smith's, so this is just kind of funny for me. I'm like, oh, that's a Smith's. So that I could get some Coke so I didn't have to keep buying it out of the machine while I'm here. So we did that. And then she brought me back here. And then I think what did I do? Oh yeah, so I had my leftover P.F. Chang's because I did end up going to P.F. Chang's night 1, and it was wonderful. I sat there and actually tried to take up some time sitting there, and I had leftovers, so that was my night 2 dinner, which was really nice. I heated up in our little microwave here, and then I took it and all my stuff down to the lobby, just sat down there eating, chilling, waiting for my fiance to get home so I could chat with him. And then I'm getting these mixed up. Day 4 of me, but that includes my travel day, so technically it's like day 3 of the intensive. Morning class, we had Vinny, who was hilarious. I mean, honestly, every teacher we've had this week so far has been wonderful. But he was great. Our class was really crowded that day, though, because I guess a lot of people really like him, so we had a lot of people from other classes and students come in, so that was a rough trying to fit everybody in their class. Then we had point variation again, and we ended up having Claire again because our teacher was out sick, I think, it ended up working out because even though we didn't get to learn a new one, we worked on Nakia's death some more, which is what we did the first day, and I feel like it got a lot better. I still had to wear my knee brace on my knee because I'm too nervous to go down on my knee as it is, even with the tape on it. But it was good, and I got a lot out of it, and I really like how she's making us be like really dramatic with it. Like I just feel like, I don't know, I've never felt that way with ballet performances, and this is one where I'm like, oh, I got this. So that was really good. And then, let's see, what did we do after that? During lunch, I called Brad, and then I sat with Alyssa again. Then we had our choreography time, and this time Allison came in and kind of helped our group a little bit with our stuff and kind of cleaning a little bit. And then I came back here, had a little bit of time, called my mom and dad and Brad some more. Got really homesick again, and then I walked next door to where Debbie and Kate are staying, and we all took an Uber up to Capitol Hill to see the Capitol building, which was really cool, but then we thought we were going to get food up there, and there was nothing really up there, so we had to walk all the way back down to like where the mall is, which isn't bad, but when you're at a ballet intensive, it's bad, even going downhill. So we made it down. We went to Brio for dinner, which was really delicious and just good. and had some great conversations with them, which was awesome. And then we took an Uber back up to the Capitol building because we were like, we're not walking that. And we got a lot of fun pictures up there. It was just really such a nice night. It was so pretty up there. And then just a lot of good fun talking to them and stuff. And then I came back here. Yeah, I think that's about it. Yep, came back here for the night. That was that night. So the next day that was Wednesday. So Thursday, which was yesterday, got to the studio super early, read my book, rolled out, my usual routine. I love it because it's one. I'm not normally a morning person. I don't know if I'm still in Cincinnati time still. I've started getting a little less able to get up before 7 now the last couple days. But it's not bad, and I like getting in the studio that early when no one's in there. You can claim your bar spot, and just like, it's so peaceful and silent in there in the mornings, especially if they haven't turned the lights on in the studio yet, because you just get the window light, and I'm like, this is nice and relaxing. And the studios are just beautiful. So I went there. We had class with Adrian Fry, who's great too, just like they all are. I mean, honestly, they all are. I feel like center went really well for me that time too. And then I went to modern, which modern and any other styles of dance is just not really my thing, but especially modern. I did take modern at the Cincinnati Ballet Intensive, and I really did not like it. But Courtney, my old teacher's friend, Jessica, was the one teaching modern, and so I really wanted to take her class. So I did take it. It was actually better than the one I had taken previously, but it's still just not my thing. I tried it though. I gave it my try. And then after that, I came back over here to grab my tutu and makeup and stuff for my photo shoot because it was happening like basically right after a rehearsal. So we did rehearsal, and then then I got ready for the photo shoot. The photo shoot was so much fun. It was probably my favorite thing we did, which, I mean, I've loved a lot of this, but that was my favorite thing. Because, like, I brought my own tutu, but just seeing everybody else get excited in theirs, and, like, even the people, it was people from my class that were some of the ones in there, and even though they weren't people I'd really talked to much before, all of a sudden, like, the four of us started taking all these photos together just off to the side and just having a great time because we were all wearing tutus, and it was just so fun, and, like, it was just great. And then doing our group photos, and it was so much fun. I loved it. And I just loved, like, getting coached in those, like how to do that and stuff, and, like, being surprised at how, like, the photos looked, like, right when you get them, or right when you see them. I'm like, I did that? Huh, on the first try. But it was awesome. And then after that, I went back and changed, and then I met Alyssa we walked up to the mall, which isn't too far from here. So if you're going, the mall is really close, and it is so much fun. It is like this beautiful indoor-outdoor mixed mall where, like, the ceiling can come in during the bad weather and out during the good weather. I don't know. My roommate told me that. That's how I know. She said one day she went there, the roof was there, and then the next day it wasn't. But it's got all these, like, creek water things running through it. It's just gorgeous. It's called City Creek Mall. And then I really just wanted Chick-fil-A. Like, that's what I wanted, and I've been so excited for this. And so, like, I had even texted Alyssa earlier in the day. I was like, I am so ready for my Chick-fil-A right now. Also did that tonight too, because that is my comfort food. And so we did that. We sat and talked forever. We walked around some stores. She bought some stuff. We looked for random things for me and found some really bizarre 90s fashion things that we were like, these should not be coming back. But we just had a great time. And then I came back here, got ready for bed. Today we had ballet class this morning with Allison, which was really nice. And then I actually ended up, and Alyssa came and did that with me, so we got to take class together. And then we actually went and took the beginner variations class just because we both prefer doing more ballet stuff. I was supposed to have contemporary today, but I just really wanted to do another variation. So we got to learn Cinderella, which is what they've been learning. And again, it was so fun. It wasn't too hard, but it was like a lot more like trying to act the part, and it's something that I'm not good at, but it was challenging in a good way that I enjoyed. My toes really hurt, which is not great because I have to do Nakia again tomorrow, but it'll be fine. And then after that, we had lunch. I came over here and grabbed stuff. My roommate and her mom were like, oh, hey, we're actually gonna leave today instead of tomorrow because she's not feeling well. So I was like, oh, okay. So I said goodbye to them. I really am glad that I have at least a night to myself, though, just to pack and just collect myself and things before tomorrow, because I'm already a nervous traveler when I travel alone. So did that, went back over. We had really long rehearsals today because we kind of did our, like, spacing and stuff up in Studio A, and then Alyssa's class ran really late doing theirs, and then she and I wanted to take photos, but at that point we were like, let's just stay in the building and use an empty studio. So we went to the Capitol Theater and took some photos in there until my camera died because I forgot to bring the extra batteries with me. Honestly, I'm lucky I even had the camera with me. And then we came over here so she could dump her stuff, and then we both went over to City Creek Mall again. She got Johnny Rockets, I got Chick-fil-A. We had a great time, and we sat and talked forever in the beautiful weather out on these, sitting on these couch things, and then we were like falling asleep almost out there, and I was like, I think we got to go back. So we got back here, and then this is what I've been doing. This is me trying to make this a really concise video, and this is without day number, the final day, I don't know, Saturday. So I'll fill you all in on that maybe this weekend, but my flight gets in super late tomorrow night, so it won't be tomorrow. Okay, so I've been back from the Artemotion Summer Intensive now for 2 weeks as of tomorrow. I really need to finish this video. It's probably gonna be a long one because I'd rather it just be all in one than cut it up into clips. And my specialty with YouTube videos is more talking to the camera than it is putting in videos. So we'll see how this turns out when I go to edit. But as you can see, I finally have something that might be able to edit well. So I'm trying to remember everything I wanted to say at the end of my video because I can't remember exactly where I cut off. I think the last video I made was in the hotel room the night before our final day. So I finally had a night to myself in the hotel room, which allowed me to relax a little more and pack up all my stuff. And the following day I was very stressed because I am a nervous traveler and I get very nervous about making my flights, and I remember having issues on the way in catching a lift because my phone just doesn't work well in Salt Lake because I have Cricket Wireless. So I was very nervous about that, and I eventually got one obviously to the hotel, but then like going out I was like, okay. So I took all my stuff with me because obviously checkout was during while we were in class, so I took all my stuff with me over to the studios, and then we had morning class, which was taught by Rex, which I thought was really good.
Forward bending, please. Good. Straight. Push the knees to the side, heels into the ground. 2 more demi. It gets deeper every demi-plie.
Just like, I wish that I had been able to write down all the like awesome corrections everybody had given us all week, but there was so much, and I usually didn't have my notebook like right next to me, or it feels kind of rude to do that during class, and my brain is the brain of a goldfish. I'm not going to remember this stuff by like 30 minutes later or whenever the class ends. So, and usually then we were running to the next class. So we had that, it was good, and then we went to, what did I have next? Oh, that was the final day of my point variation, which we had been doing the Kia for my intermediate group all week. So that day we actually we did a little bit of prep, we did a little point class, we did a little bit of the prep, and then we split up into twos and just everybody got to perform it, which was really cool. And I videotaped it for everybody. So I might put that in here, we'll see. Again, I don't want to make this too long for people to watch, but it was really cool, and the videos are up on my Instagram too. And then we had our lunch break, which was a little shorter because we had to do like dress run-throughs before the show. We had all changed, so we wore all black, and then I like rearranged stuff in my suitcase to try and get it as ready as possible because I was like, okay, technically like the intensive ends at 3:15. My flight was at 5:35. And I was just very nervous mostly about catching a lift to the airport. It's not that far from there, but just because I had issues before, and like, I didn't know how many people were gonna want to perform the special pieces, and that's what kind of threw me off. So we had our performance, and we got to watch everybody else's, which was really cool too, because it was really unique how every performance was so different from the others. I loved ours. Like, I'm more of an adagio all day kind of person, so I loved that ours was like slow and like just I don't know, I just loved it. So I have a video of that too. They will have a better video on their YouTube page. I do not have a great quality video of it, but it's on my Instagram if people want to check it out. So I probably won't put it in here just because it's not the best quality. Whenever they get theirs up, it will be a really good quality version of it that Josh Whitehead took during those. So those will be really good. I didn't end up doing any of the special performances because like I would have rather been in point shoes to do Nakia, and by that point I was starting to have my panic moments of am I going to make my flight and all this stuff. At that point I was like, I just got really homesick on the trip, which is very strange for me. I mean, no, it's not. My parents would like to usually do this, but in the past few years when I've traveled alone, but I've gone with people I really know and things, and I think that was the key to this one, is like I just kind of felt alone, but I also didn't have my alone space in the hotel room, which I realized I didn't think was going to be an issue, but when you're with people all day and then you just want to like have your own time and relax, like that's important. And just so that was like, I just had a hard time with the week. And I was really just homesick for my fiance too, because I'm at that point where I'm just like, I don't really want to be away from him anymore. And he was kind of the same way. So I was just like excited to get my flight home. I was still not going to get home till almost midnight. So I went, changed, got my suitcase all packed, went out to wait for a Lyft, Uber, whatever. I could not get any of them to work. And eventually one of my classmates came out of the building, and she was so kind, and she was like, I'm just going to call one for you. And she just like took care of it. She's like, just, you need to catch your flight, go. And that was a blessing, because it was fine once I got there. Like, I got my bag dropped really easily. I got through security pretty easily. I grabbed some food really quick and ate it at the gate. And then we got on the plane on time, everything. Sat on the runway for an hour, found out they needed to go back to the gate. This is my luck with flights, and this is why I hate flying. Every time something happens to me, nobody believes me until they see it happen multiple times. They're like, you weren't kidding. We left the gate again, sat on the runway again, went back to the gate, and this time the pilot was mad because he was like, it was paperwork. Paperwork didn't get filled out right about the fuel, and that's why they're making us go back again. So he was even upset about it. At that point, we had sat on the plane for over 2 hours. Finally, we did take off, which I was thankful for, because I've been in issues where this has happened, and then the pilot's time out, and you have no crew or anything, and I was like, ah. I did make it home. Brad was still waiting for me. It was like 1 in the morning by the time I got up to the baggage claim, by the time he got me back here and everything, and I got in bed, it was probably like 2:15, and then I had to be at church at 7:45 for a mic check, because I said I would sing, and I was not going to back out just because of my flight. It was fine. I drank lots of caffeine, and then I just relaxed all day and kind of was half asleep the rest of the day. But anyway, so that was kind of how the trip ended for me. And then it's just been a lot of trying to get my life back in order here, because we've had some wedding stuff happen, and then Brad still has only been in the house for a few weeks, so it's been just kind of getting stuff ready there. And then, yeah, so I just haven't had a lot of time. I haven't done any classes since I got back, which I'm a little sad that I just can't seem to get motivated, and I don't know if it's just this floor in here just does not work for me. I don't know. I hope I can get back into it, but yeah, and then I got back and my AC went out and my Wi-Fi went out, so it was a challenging start to my week back after that. But so kind of like some things I wanted to mention about the intensive, that just took a lot of time for me to tell you all that. I think that one of the biggest things about it, and that I kind of had to come to terms with myself, and they made a point to say this a lot, is like, you have to leave the ballet world, like, toxic environment behind you in this case, because that's not what this is about. Like, people can do point if they want to, like, obviously safely. But like I've been in places where teachers are like, yeah, I don't know, you don't have the feet and ankles for it, so you shouldn't do it, or you're too overweight to do it, you shouldn't do it. And this is not the case. They let you do it. They let you try whatever level you want to try. That's like testing your limits. And everybody looks different and feels different. You have some like people that you're like, whoa, these are amazing dancers, and you have some complete beginners, and it's great. And it's also been a great chance for me to get to meet people that I've talked to on Instagram for years, like Debbie and Alyssa, and just like other people too, but those two I hung out with the most. And like, it was so great to hang out with them. And it's just so nice to feel like this, like, nobody was judging you. Nobody, like, I was so worried because I used to get yelled at in my studio classes by the teacher, like, all the time. Like, it was like to the point that like I could not focus on anything I was doing, because it was like, every time I would think about something she told me to correct, then everything else I was doing was wrong. And it would just be like, Allie, why are you doing this? Allie, you're doing this wrong. Allie. And it was just like, I can't do anything right when you're yelling in my face like that. And it made me start to hate ballet. And that was one of the kind of reasons that I kind of quit this past year. I just got tired of being treated like that. I was like, I am 33 years old. I don't need to be treated like this. And there just haven't been a lot of good adult classes around here. And then I moved out kind of to the country, so now I live too far away to go to places like Cincinnati Ballet now. So but yeah, so it was like nice and refreshing that that's like everyone's accepted there just as you are, and that's so great, because I have a hard time with like the fact that I know my feet will never have the mobility or anything that I want them to, no matter what I do. The physical therapist has told me that they are kind of at their limit, and it's just like, like there, it's kind of like, no one's trying to tell you. Now, they will try and help you, like, improve your lines and things, but no one's trying to tell you you can't do this or anything. Like, that's just not a thing there, which is so great and positive. And then, something else I wanted to mention, too. This does not have to do with the intensive exactly, but in a way it does. So I know I've talked about this a lot before, but I'm going to mention these again. This is from another adult ballet dancer, so her picture's on the back of these books. But Joanna Marsh wrote to ballet books about adult ballet dancers. Or one adult ballet dancer mostly, but like they make me feel so much better about being an adult dancer, and they make me feel motivated, like to the point that I'm like sitting here looking at them going, maybe I should start reading these again because then I'll get motivated to do more classes. The first one is Cantique, and the second one is La Folia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right, but these books are just great. I can't even tell you, I think I've probably read Cantique like maybe 6 or 7 times now. I have the audiobook, I have the Kindle book, because sometimes I'm like, oh, I'd love to just listen to it. But yeah, these books are such a great thing for adult dancers because there aren't a lot of things like this for us, where it's actually written from the point of someone who was never a professional, who never even necessarily danced before. And it just kind of reminded me of why I fell in love with ballet as an adult in the first place. Even though I danced when I was younger, I didn't love ballet until I was an adult at all. I hated it. My mom forced me to go for years. But I just wanted to mention those. So I'm trying to think of what else I have to say. I just think it's a great opportunity. I think there's not a lot of adult ballet intensives out there. And I think it's been really cool to tell people when they were like, why were you in Salt Lake? And I can explain it. And they're like, huh. So like, it is really cool. Even my parents, who used to think that I was being silly for doing this much ballet, like have recognized like what an incredible opportunity this was. And like, I wish I could do like, not all of it. I do wish I could do like a company class every morning kind of thing. I can't fit that in with my schedule. Some days I can if we're less busy like we have been this week at work. But for the most part, like that's not realistic. And like I said, I have my little space here that I don't like. It was just such a great opportunity. I got a few things from it. Some is in the laundry, so I can't show it now, but I did share it on Instagram. I got a cute leotard. I said I wasn't gonna buy anything, but there was this really, really pretty leotard, like white floral print. And then I got Ballet West Summer Intensive stuff, which I think is really cool. I got the cropped t-shirt and the cropped hoodie, which is pink. And then I also got another one of those Meet Me at the Bar t-shirts because I have the purple one from them that I wear all the time. And I got a black one, even though it's really tight. I'm just hoping it'll fit me better eventually if I lose some more weight before the wedding, which I'm hoping to do. So, and doing ballet would help that. But I do think, sorry, this is me rambling a lot, but I'm trying to remember all the things I wanted to say about this because it really is a really cool, unique opportunity. And to get to be taught by so many different people all week too, who all have this same like mindset of like, you're doing great. Like we love that you're here and we appreciate you. And now my battery's dying, so give me a second.